The Huawei Mate 20 Pro has a brand new triple camera system that promises to take over the mobile photography landscape with incredible performance. You have a main camera, 40 megapixels, a secondary telephoto lens, and a third ultra wide angle camera, unlike that on practically any other phone. So let's compare it against the Apple iPhone XS Max and the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, two of the best phones around. So starting with this first picture, here you can see the Gherkin, a famous building in London. You can see that all three phones do a very different job when capturing this photograph. Now, for example, the image from the iPhone is the brightest and it has the most color in the sky, and it looks great. The image from the Huawei phone also looks good, and you can see the natural colors of the buildings, but you don't have that much blue in the skies and it's a bit overblown. The image from the Note here seems to look worst of them all. It's cold, it is a bit underexposed and doesn't look that great. Now jumping over to the next image, what we have here is another famous London building called the Shard, and the Shard is towers like a pyramid over the London skyline. So let's take a look. The image from the iPhone again is the brightest one. This is something that you see in this camera comparison, and it also features a lot of blues in the skies while preserving detail in the shadow thanks to its new smart HDR mode. Huawei Mate 20 Pro on the other hand doesn't have that much blue in the sky and it's a bit more gloomy, but you see the colors of the buildings are also pretty nicely rendered. Again, the image from the Note is a bit colder. So let's go to image number 3, and what we have here is a very cozy restaurant near the Thames River. You can see those pods where you can sit and relax and have a dinner, and the colors again look different on all these phones, and this is probably the biggest differentiator. The image from the Huawei looks good, and there are not that many differences here. The image from the Huawei is a bit sharper maybe than all the rest, and has a lot of detail. Now skipping over to the next image, we go to the famous Tower Bridge in London. You can see a very picturesque place. This was not the brightest and sunniest of days, but you can still see that the iPhone image tends to look a bit more cheerful, a bit brighter than the rest, which are a bit darker. The Huawei does a good job, but again, maybe not quite as great as the iPhone XS Max. So let's jump to night photos, and in terms of night photography, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro really shines here. And starting with this photograph of the Tower Bridge again at dusk, and here you can see quite a few differences. The Huawei tends to capture light in a very nice way. You can see that the whole scene is brighter, well exposed, while on the iPhone and the Galaxy Note 9 you get a slightly darker image. And let's skip to the next photograph, and here we're already at night, taking a picture at night, and let's take a look at the image from the Huawei Mate 20 Pro. You can see plenty of color and a nice exposure, so really good looking image. The iPhone has a bit more noise in the sky and doesn't quite have that much detail, and then the Note doesn't have that much noise in the sky, but the image is not that well exposed and not that bright. So let's go to the next image, and here we have the underground sign, something that you see everywhere in London. So again, you see the difference in colors is most obvious one, and it seems that the iPhone captures a bit warmer image while the Huawei keeps it true to life, which is good to see. And next up we go to one more scene. Here we have the Monument Station in London, and you can see the double-decker buses, the red double-decker buses, and you can see that the iPhone is actually pretty badly affected by the flare in this image. We tried to avoid it, but it's proved to be almost impossible. So we have this flare in the image and a lot of noise in the sky. The image from the Mate 20 Pro is clearly the best looking one here. You have a very clear sky. You have what seems like some lights in the dark night sky, and you have very nice exposure, great colors, really impressive. And the Note 9, it's a bit hazier and not quite as great as the other two. So let's take a look at one more image, and here we have the Trinity building. Let's take a look at the differences in performance. Again, the Huawei captures a very good looking image with a lot of detail both in the shadows and a very nicely portrayed sky. Now, in order to get this image, you need to hold your phone a little longer at night, so the phone tells you that it sharpens the photo, and the results are really probably the most impressive ones of these three. And finally, let's take a look at some selfies. So we jump over to daylight selfies, and here we have a selfie from the iPhone, the Note, and the Mate 20 Pro with the shard at the background. And here you can see that the sharpest image actually comes from the iPhone, which has the most detail and looks very well balanced. We really like that. And we have a nice image from the Mate 20 Pro as well, but it doesn't quite have that dynamic range and that reach, but it still doesn't overexpose either, so that's a good thing. And finally, the Galaxy, it loses the detail in the skin, and the skin looks very blurry and not quite that great, but again, you have a nice dynamic range to this image. So that's it, guys, a quick look at the cameras on the Huawei Mate 20 Pro against the cameras on the iPhone XS Max and the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Let us know what you think. How do you like these cameras? In the comments right below. Subscribe to this channel for more videos, like it, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this video, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye.